Aired the same night, May 9th, 2000. Got a kind of a weird writer director team. This fellow who wrote it is named Gary Campbell. He was on the staff for the whole first season, but this is the only one he ever wrote, and then he doesn't come back. Um, but it's kind of an important episode. So it's weird. Anyway, this guy, he's mostly associated with sketch comedy. Like he wrote for sketch comedy his entire career. He got to start writing for the Kids in the Hall, wrote for the entire run of that show. They deemed him important enough that when they've done reboots of the Kids in the Hall, they've brought this guy back as a writer. And he also wrote for like the entire run of the Jamie Kennedy Experiment and many years of Mad TV. So that's mostly what he does. And this episode does not have that vibe at all. Um, and our director is this fella, David Straighten, who has up to this point only directed one episode of Angel. This is the second. The one he did was the Bachelor Party, which I think was the one you did with Tim. And
Yeah.
yeah. So it's a weird team, but a crucial episode of Angel. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Let's get into it. We have Alana, right?
Is that where you want to start?
Well, that's the opening scene. She's running
Oh,
away from some vamps,
I didn't remember. Okay, yeah, Alana.
and vamps are chasing her, and she's running, and they corner her, and then a truck
Oh
comes
yeah.
up behind the vampires, and you've got a guy, and he's got a sword.
Well, they play the Angel music, like the Angel Batman music. It's like the same score they play like when he like jumps through a window or some shit, or like walks with his coat billowing away. But like it's a black dude.
Yeah, yeah. But by the way, there was I liked the opening of Buffy this week. You know how Giles goes previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and he
Yeah,
did
and
a
then
thing.
and then he goes and Angel.
And on Angel. And then
Yeah.
it came on. That was funny. But yeah, so and this guy's name is Gunn.
Charles Gunn.
Oh, Charles Gunn. Okay.
Yeah,
That's your middle name. Did you connect with this character?
very much so. I would say if there's one character I'm most like in the realm of fiction, it's Charles Gunn.
Ever?
No, I'm joking. He's a badass black guy.
Oh. Oh, okay. Thought you were being serious. Well, I don't know anything about him. I thought he could be like he could like I don't know. But so yeah, he shows up and he saves his sister. We don't know that they're sisters yet, I don't think. But
Yeah.
that's
Well, I
the
don't even think the sister was really running. I think she was leading the vampires to them.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. And but then we go to fancy party time, right?
Woo!
By the way, I thought this was going to be the guy from that one episode where they were like the divorce guy. Have we ever caught up on that?
No, we haven't actually.
Are we going
But
to?
I don't remember. But we are going to catch up with this guy. He's a new recurring character.
David Nabbit, recurring
David
character.
Nabbit. Yeah. Played by the great Michael Bolton from Office Space.
Holy shit. The listeners know Michael Bolton. He's been playing on the Pirates episodes the last few weeks. I did them 2 weeks in a row. I thought it'd be so like because like they get a little redundant and we're just like doing the same thing and we're bringing Jack Sparrow back every time. So we got to play the Jack Sparrow song, I thought. So I
That's
did it
fine.
2 weeks in a row. I thought that'd be good. But yeah, David Nabbit. I mean, he's fine. I mean, we don't really resolve his whole thing in this episode, so I
No,
guess it makes
I
sense.
know. He's because he comes back.
But we haven't resolved the guy who got divorced either.
Yeah, but then they got all distracted by Faith. I don't remember if it comes back or not. It might.
That's why I thought this was this guy. And he's throwing a big party. I was like, oh, this is like a divorced guy throwing like a big fancy party.
No,
But
he's a rich
no.
guy, software billionaire, but a
Yeah.
nice guy. So he's like a fantasy figure. Doesn't exactly that doesn't actually exist.
Right. Yeah. Something seems off with him, but maybe it's just him. But so he invites them. He's like, guys, act natural. I threw a party so it can be like nobody will expect anything weird. And he tells a story like him and his friends used to love Dungeons and Dragons, and then they like got obsessed with the demon women, so they went to a
Yes.
brothel with demons.
Yeah, and
And
he's been 12 times apparently.
I love that. Yeah, Angel's like, so how many? And he's like 12, but he's like, people know about it. But he thought he meant how many times have you been?
That's
So
great.
funny line. And so yeah, that's what we learned there. And we learned there's a guy, Lenny Edwards, who took photos of them, right?
Yeah, Lenny.
And I thought it was weird. Like Lenny Edwards took photos, but here we have a photo of Lenny Edwards. So I thought that was weird.
How about that? Yeah, putting flipping on him.
Yeah, well, but how'd they get this photo? Like that guy's the photographer. How do like you guys are just like a bunch of losers
It's
playing Dungeons
honestly
and
a
Dragons.
really good point. It's a candid photo of him smoking a
Yeah,
cigarette.
what's
How
going
did
on?
they get that photo?
It was like he took it on. It's like he's Spider Man. He took it on
That
himself.
has never occurred to me
He put
before.
on his Lenny Edwards outfit and posed for the photo.
You're
I thought it was
totally
really weird.
right. You're totally right. He had a fucking camera in his Lenny belt.
So, but there you go. They have a photo. Lenny Edwards. Got to go get Lenny. And but so, cut back to Gunn, Charles Gunn. What do I call him?
You could call him Gun.
Okay, I feel like that's what they call him.
Yeah,
And you can call him Gunn because his sister dies. He's the only one with that name now.
true.
That's how you
Alana
should have
Gunn
known.
dead.
You should have known she was gonna die because he has their name.
Good
Um,
point.
but yeah, so him and his crew they're fighting vampires, and we lose a guy. A guy dies. Bobby.
Poor Bobby. Yeah.
Or he has a funny line. He's like, "The guy picked me up like I was a baby. I'm not a baby."
It's sad.
And then he dies. And
Yeah.
we meet a guy, James. James has like a silly voice. I like James.
It's not James.
That's not James with the silly voice.
It's Chain.
His name is
Wait.
Chain.
There's somebody in the crew named Chain, but now I'm looking at the credits. There's someone named James too. So maybe we're talking about two different people.
Why? I wrote down we got a guy, James.
All
And I
right, you
thought
might be
James
right.
was like the short guy with the silly voice. But he's the guy that Angel breaks in later, and he's like, "Invite me in," and he invites him in,
Okay.
and then he's like, "I'm dumb. I'm sorry." That was
Oh,
funny.
that's probably James. I think Chain is like their sidekick. He's like the one with the most lines in the group other than Gun.
There are villains though. There might be a vampire named
There's
Chain.
too many characters. No. Chain is definitely a part of the group. I remember because I noticed it. I was like, I wonder how he got that name. But fucking there's too many characters in this episode.
Can I tell you? This episode felt like a pirates movie. We've got our good side, we've got the bad side, but then we've also got the military. Like we have three
Totally.
sides. Yeah, we have Angel Cordelia. Like we have three teams going on here,
Yeah.
and then they all come together at the end.
And there's about 35 characters and you only care about like 3 of them. So
Yeah, for real. There's a lot going on this episode. Uh, but yeah, so we lose. So yeah, there's Bobby. So Angel
poor
goes
Bobby.
to the brothel, right? And he gets rubbed up on by a tail. What'd you think about that moment?
It's touching his dick, clearly. I like that.
Yeah,
Um it looks like some of the women in that brothel are the ladies that he saved in that episode
he saved them. Oh,
Yeah,
of course he did.
yeah.
That's
Remember
amazing.
the interdimensional hookers or whatever? I think some of them are working there. I
That's
saw.
incredible.
Yeah, I spotted some. But
Are we ever going to see the ones he saved from the ring?
no.
Those are never. They're never going to. We're never going to be meet like a villain who's like, I'm from the ring and now I'm bad, or like a
Nope.
good guy who's like, I'm. That should be a thing. They should have done that.
Fair enough. Yeah, I guess so. I anyway, where were we?
We went to the brothel. The one,
Oh, right.
Lena was her name. She says, "Look,
Yes.
Ma, no
It's
hands." And she rubs him with her tail.
Madam Dorian's. I thought it was funny that
Wesley.
he's yeah. Nabbit says he's been to a demon brothel. I understand that Wesley's just giving us exposition here, but he knew exactly what the guy was talking about.
Yeah, they didn't really treat it for laughs in the episode, but it is kind of funny that
Yeah.
you're supposed to be like, interesting.
Yeah.
I agree. And so Angel, he at some point meets Lenny Edwards and he threatens him, but then
Yeah.
Gunn and his crew
Gun
like see
spots
Angel.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, vampire, we got to take care of that guy next. That's trouble." Right? So
Yeah.
that could be bad. And then we go to Nabbit being a good guy. By the way, his name is David, and there's a funny part where Cordelia's like, "David, that's such a strong name." And our leader of the show's name is David. Was that on purpose?
Yeah, maybe I didn't think about it.
She's like,
She even has a line that
name.
she says it feels good in my mouth.
Yeah, and then Wesley's like, "All right, Cordelia, come on, what are you doing?" But he pays him. He writes him a check for way more than what they were anticipating, and he's like, "You guys are just so nice and did such a
You
great job."
talked to me I think it was more like that they were nice to him.
you guys are so nice to me. And they're like, well, we didn't do anything weird. And they're like, well, you were really nice to me. I guess like
Yeah,
just
just talk to me like a
being
person.
normal is very nice to
Yeah.
him. Yeah. So we go and Angel meets back up with Lenny Edwards, right? He's got the photos. But Lenny brought a monster to fight Angel.
He did.
Oh, was that monster there by accident?
I don't remember the monster.
Angel gets in a fight with a monster.
Really?
And then because
Why don't
Angel
I remember that?
Lenny Edwards is sitting on the car and he's like waiting on Angel to show up, and Angel shows up, and then Lenny is like, "Monster is here," and I don't know if the monster showed up randomly or if he set him up.
Was it a monster?
Angel fights a big monster, and Angel kills the monster, and then Angel gets shot by those guys, and Angel runs off through the warehouse, and then he saves Alana. Remember?
I promise I watched this. I remember all of that. I just don't remember the monster.
Oh yeah, well, there's a moment where he fights a monster.
Okay. They just threw a monster in this episode.
Yeah, and then that's how Lenny Edwards gets away. He like gets distracted fighting the monster, so Lenny runs off.
Oh, fair enough. I do remember that. I just can't picture the monster. What did the monster look like?
It looked like the Go Fish monster. I feel like a little bit like that guy.
Okay.
Those guys. It was multiple, but yeah, So
Gage
that happened.
Patronzi.
Who?
Gage Patronzi. That was the name of the dude from Prison Break in that episode.
No, it's not. It's
No, the name
Miller.
of the name of the character, my friend.
Gage Petronsky. What a
Gage
weird name.
Patronzi. Yeah.
Patronzi. Oh my god, they were really creative that day. Gage
Yeah.
Patronzi. I like that.
It's David Fury's first episode as writer. He really felt like he had something to prove.
I like that. Yeah, that's great. He saves Alana, right? And they don't kill him.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you must be. He says like, I'm a good guy, and he also, by the way, compliments them. He's like, this is really well put together traps. You could have got me if I wasn't so good.
Yeah, totally.
I was such a fucking badass. You might have killed me. But then later it comes into play because he seems like he kind of recruits him. He's like, hey, I like you. The cut of your jib. What's up?
Yeah.
Then here I wrote longest transition yet. So I guess I think it's like goes on like 2 beats longer than you think it's going to. Like you think it's about to end, and then it's like it keeps going for a second.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It felt it was so rapid fire. I for some that was scarier to me than the monsters. That stuck with me.
Yeah. So there you go. It's like 6 seconds long. It's like
Yeah.
kind of long.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try to find it and play it. But we got Cordelia. She's patching up Angel because he got shot by what's his name? Gunn? Yeah,
Yeah.
Gunn. Yeah. Charles
His name
Gunn.
is the same as his weapon.
Oh, I thought he had a sword.
Well,
a sword
he
and a
shot
gun?
Angel, didn't he?
Was like, with like a harpoon gun on the
Oh,
back
yeah,
of that
yeah.
truck. But he also has
That's
carries
right.
a sword on him, I think. But
They've
yeah,
got a lot of cool weapons, man. They've got that big truck. You see one guy like shoot a steak from like a steak like missile launcher, and it hits a vampire in midair. He turns into dust. It's pretty badass.
No, they're pretty inventive, folks. It's
Yeah.
cool.
They had a
And
big thing fall from the ceiling with a bunch of steaks sticking out of it. That was crazy.
I don't know how it didn't kill Angel, to be honest.
Well, he ducked at the exact right time. It didn't go all the way to the floor. It was on a chain, so like it dropped perfectly above the ground.
That
And
seems like a
he just
problem
missed it.
from them though. Like they should make it.
I
where
agree.
It
They
goes
don't
all
have
the
a
way
long enough.
down.
They don't have a long enough chain, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's actually kind of a misfire on their part.
Maybe they should attach their friend chain to that chain. Make the chain.
Oh. Yeah, they should have done that. Why didn't they do that? But Angel basically he realizes that there are good guys hunting vampires, so there must be a lot of vampires around. There's got to be a nest somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Gotta go find the nest. And we meet, I don't know who the main vampire was, but he killed a guy named Ty. And I kind of like Ty for the one scene that he had before
Who
he
was
died.
Ty?
Ty, they're like, hey, Ty, you've never been snuck up on and killed before, have you? And Ty's like, no way. And then yeah. But now we've got people just killing vampires. And he stabs him with a stake. I don't remember what happened, honestly. But it was kind of sad. R.I.P. Ty. But anyway,
They're dropping like flies in this gang.
But they basically just set that guy up because at the end, Angel kills him and is like, What about the rest of you? You guys gonna truce? Like he takes that guy out of the way, and then everybody truces.
Look,
Remember that?
ultimately, this whole episode exists to introduce Gunn. None of these other people matter.
Okay. All right. Well, I feel like it's my duty to walk us through everything.
No, I
So
agree. I like that you're doing it. Yeah.
yeah, and so I love this part. Angel eventually goes to the vampire den. He finds it, but it's empty. Nobody's in there. Except a guy drops on him, but Angel nonchalantly is just like steps out of the way. Like, oh, I see that guy up there.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. And then we can move on to we go back to our good guys. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of sides going on here. Back to like by good guys, I don't mean Cordelia and Wesley. You might have thought
You mean
that.
our gang, the gun gang?
Right, the gun gang. Are you calling them a gang because they're black?
No, I kind of just think that the metaphor we're going with in this episode is gang warfare.
No, you're
Um,
right. They even
yeah,
say
like
like they're like they it's like a class thing. She said like the rich people and then the poor people right off the outskirts are like doing fighting vampires. Cordelia has
right.
a line like that.
Yeah. Wow, it's
So
Cordelia learning about class differences.
yeah,
Great to
yeah,
see.
you're right. And so but they're like hanging out at their little hideout, get the gun gang, and smoke grenades come flying in and they're like, oh no, we got to get out. They think they're like gonna explode, so they run out of the building and they're like, oh, they're just smoke. And then so they realize it was just to get them out, right? And so they grab Alana and stick her in a van, the vampires do, and drive off and they kill her.
A
Gun like see,
vampire. You might call that a
oh,
vampire.
I like that.
Yeah.
Gunn sees his sister Alana get bit by a vampire.
I love that moment. I think that's maybe the highlight of the whole episode. J. August Richards, who plays Gunn, is really good in that moment. And the shot of the two vampires like going after Alana in the back of that van is genuinely scary to me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight you on that. That's a good
Yeah.
call. It seemed like I'm not sure about this. It seemed like he only got into this business because of her, right? She was like she wanted to fight the vampires, and he was like, all right, fine. But then he got good at it, I guess. That's the kind of the vibe I got. Is
I
that
don't know.
wrong?
We learned a lot more about Gunn.
I feel like when they were arguing, she like he. That's sort of what I was getting, but
Yeah, no, that's fair.
yeah, like
That's a
she was
fair
way more
assumption.
into it, but then he
Hmm.
had to like out of necessity, kind of, and then he really has to cement it by having to kill her at the end. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here we go. We get crazy moment I hear or I think right here we get Wesley and Cordelia. They're in a convertible, okay? They're like in the back alley. They see a homeless guy and Wesley's like, Cordelia, I'm going to leave you here to talk to this homeless guy. I'm going to go like work on like wires or something.
Right. And she's like, why
What?
can't I work on the wires?
He left Cordelia in a back alley with a homeless guy with a shopping cart.
Maybe
You
he's a
realize how
peddler.
insane that is?
Yeah, it didn't really it occurred to me at the time that it was odd, but not just how dangerous it could be. Yeah. I mean, he really does. Like he leaves and Cordelia's plan here, like, is to flirt with this guy, right?
Really?
I think so.
I don't know what their plan was. They needed to ask him for information
I
or
think they were
be somewhere.
distracting him for something. I don't know if he was even homeless.
They say there's like a guy with a shopping cart in a back alley.
I guess so.
What is that
It
supposed
was
to mean?
weird. I don't really know what Wesley and Cordelia are doing in this episode.
It's a weird episode. I don't feel like they nailed the. I mean, he's a good character. Like the introduction with him and his sister is pretty good.
But that's all they had. Like I feel like this episode is weird. Like it's a half-baked episode.
It felt
They
long, I have to say.
I felt that way too. And I really don't think they had much. Like I read that Whedon wanted to introduce a new character to the show. Okay. Then Gary Campbell pitched him this idea of like a gang of kids going up against a gang of vampires, that sort of thing. And Joss Whedon was like, great, you can introduce my character that I came up with in this episode as part of that gang. And I don't think they ever really came up with anything more. I think that's kind of it.
So they liked Gunn and but they didn't really have much else.
I think this episode is like, I only think of this episode as the first appearance of Gunn.
Yeah, there's really nothing else. I mean, Nabbit, introduction of him, he's supposed to be a
The
character.
introduction in Nabbit, and it's got the gun killing Alana, which really informs the gun character going forward. But other than that, it's relatively forgettable.
No, yeah, completely. I understand that. We'll get to next week, and that's all probably all I'll remember. You don't even remember things that happened in this episode, like that monster and
Hmm.
the guy Ty getting killed. The
Yeah, and I've
vampire
watched this
Ty.
many times,
Yeah.
including last night.
Well, I would have remembered it probably if I wasn't taking the notes while I was watching it.
Yeah.
But then we go to um Angel. So he goes and he finds like James.
Who's James?
Oh yeah, you didn't remember James. The guy James from the crew. He's like he's like, invite me in, and then he's like threatens to beat him up if he doesn't invite him in, whatever. But then they lock Angel in a room. They like pull
Right.
curtains, and he gets like trapped in a room.
Yeah, remind me of remember when they locked it when Willie the Snitch locked him in that little gate in What's My Line Part One?
Yeah, it reminded me of that too. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I hated that. That was so annoying.
It's very stupid.
But anyway, so Gunn finds Alana, right, in like a warehouse or somewhere, and she's like, being a vampire is so good. You don't have to worry about anything, and you're so free to do whatever you want. And he's like, no, I'll never turn into a vampire, and he kills her.
Well, he pretends at first. He does a little bait and switch, so that like she's hugging him and about to bite into him, and that's when when
Seemed
he
risky, bro. I don't think I would do that.
takes her. Yeah, it's his sister.
And it's a show. He knows he's not gonna die. Doesn't really matter.
I guess so.
But then, by the way, I like this part. Cordelia and Wesley, I guess they found their way into the building and they let Angel out. But Angel, they're like, by the way, Angel, you have a cell phone. Why didn't you call us? And he's like, oh,
He
I
just
forgot about
forgot.
that. So Angel has a cell phone. I don't think I knew about that either, really.
Yeah, this is I think the first cell phone we've heard about in the Buffyverse.
Oh, really? First one? Why is it? And Angel having it? It's pretty weird. He seems like the last guy to have it.
I feel like it's something that Cordelia would just pick up for him, though.
It is important that he have it too. He's always working.
Yeah.
So, but Angel, so everybody, this is the where the pirates thing come in, where like we get like one side versus one side, and then the other side
It
shows
is
up.
so crazy. I'm reading a lot of these early Stan Lee comics, and there's so many scenes of Spider-Man just in a payphone. And it's like, what's so crazy? Can you imagine if you were just like waiting for a payphone and Spider-Man was in there?
Yeah, that's true. He was
Cell
just standing out in the
phones.
payphone all the time.
Cell phones are a good thing, guys. That's what I'm trying to say.
Really,
Yeah.
but payphone, you get so many great scenes at payphones.
Do we?
You used to, not anymore.
Yeah, I guess you're right, man.
They used to happen all the time.
But are they great or are they just there?
Remember the one where Spider-Man he calls, but then it goes on too long, so it hangs up. But then he says I'm Spider-Man just to make himself feel better. Like he's like
Did
I'm
you make that up?
Spider-Man. No, that's in like I think Spider-Man 2.
That's
I
pretty
get
funny.
it's not funny. It's an emotional moment.
I don't remember that.
He like calls and leaves a voicemail, but then you've run too long. You have to pay more. And he thinks about hanging up, but then he's like, Mary Jane, I'm Spider-Man. And you're like, wow. He's been wanting to say
That
that forever.
happens? I don't remember that at all.
Is that something I made up? I don't know. I think it's in the second one. They truce, basically. The vampires and the humans. They say, we will not fight each other anymore. At least these
Yeah.
crews.
Yeah.
Yeah. So happy ending. Nobody else dies. And
When Angel introduces himself to the vampires earlier, he calls himself Angelus to scare
oh
them.
yeah, he
Did you
does.
notice that?
And
Yeah.
I think to like hype himself up, make him like, I am Angelus. Like I got this.
Oh, you think the hype? I don't think that was part of it, but maybe,
Oh, for sure. No, it's like I'm LeBron James. Like don't forget. Don't like and I'm not forgetting either. I am LeBron James right now. It's like when LeBron takes over. You have to remind yourself you're LeBron James sometimes.
oh, what? You mean not getting a rebound in an entire game?
What? When did that happen? When did he not get a rebound the whole game?
Just recently, it was the first time in like his whole career. I read that.
Wow, he's fallen off, I guess. He
Yeah,
didn't
he's
even get a
falling
fucking
off.
rebound. God
Not
damn.
one rebound an entire game, you loser. You're like
That
10
is
feet tall.
rebounds are just all about effort,
Yeah.
basically. So he just wasn't feeling it that night, it seems like.
Yep.
Yeah, it's something going on. For the first night ever. Give him one night off, literally in 20 years.
No.
uh,
That's not that what he's getting that money for.
Honestly, when you think about what he does, it is amazing.
What? What's amazing?
His ability to do what he does consistently over the last 20 years. Nobody's ever done
Gets
that.
he gets paid too much. He's not no people have done that.
Literally name one guy
Wilt Chamberlain.
who did that for that for that great for that long.
Yes.
Since when? Wilt
What are you
Chamberlain.
talking about?
Wilt Chamberlain. He scored 100 points. That like it's not even a real game. Nobody. There's not even any record of that game. I don't think.
So you think they made it up?
Yeah, Wilt Chamberlain's a myth. But no, comparing LeBron to Wilt Chamberlain's stupid. But
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan, he played like 12 years total.
Yeah, and each one of those years is better than every year of LeBron's entire career.
Not each of them, but a lot of them. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
A much weaker field back then, I would say.
A much weaker field.
Yes.
I watched 82 games a season in the 90s. That was not a weak field. There were a lot of amazing basketball players.
There were like 15 great players, and then you fell off a cliff. The NBA today, there's like 60 players.
Yeah,
Like
and they play
great.
a combined 80 games a season.
So you can make excuses as to why they are what they are, but I'm just telling you like what it is.
All I'm telling you is the talent in the NBA is better now, and the league is so much worse.
I'm not arguing against that, but the talent is better. Anyway, we're not going to talk about the NBA.
The talent's better in every sport. It doesn't mean anything. It's not basketball exclusive.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I like this moment. Wesley and Cordelia, they like go stop and get some coffee, and Wesley scoops off all the whipped cream.
Mm-hmm. And they talk about prostitution.
Yeah, Cordelia might be a prostitute, but then
Yeah.
she changes her mind. I feel like she's not going to really be a prostitute, but she does think about it for a second.
Yeah, I mean, David Nabbit has a lot of money. I mean, I
Wait,
sort of get it.
he's going to be a pimp, is what she's implying. I don't
No,
understand.
I think she's gonna marry him
That wouldn't make her a prostitute, would it? That would
because
make
she
her
doesn't
like a
doesn't
gold
really love.
digger. Prostitute
Tell
is
me,
having sex for money.
explain to me the difference between a gold digger and a prostitute.
Well, I feel like a prostitute has sexual encounters for money.
For money, and a
A
gold
gold
digger
digger marries somebody for money.
so basically has sexual encounters for money,
But you're getting
but
fully
just with the
married.
same person.
I feel like that's a difference.
I think it's a difference. I still would not hesitate to call that person a fucking whore.
Oh wow. You listening out there, all you prostitute and whores?
Mm-hmm.
No, just kidding. I love all our prostitute listeners. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. I guess Nabbit will come back and we'll see. But Angel goes and talks to Gunn up on a rooftop, kind of. They're like looking out a window, I think. But he's like, "Hey, Gunn, I like the way you think and operate. And I know you just lost your sister, but I might need your help with stuff."
It's very much like the scenes early in the season with him and Doyle talking on
Yep.
the balcony, or the scenes a little later on in the season with him and Wesley. Now it's him and Gunn. He's got himself a new friend. Gunn's standoffish. He says, "I don't need your help." Angel says, "I might need yours." That's the way they leave it off.
Yeah. Very excited, I guess.
And I'll tell you that Gunn is in the last two episodes of the season, and then he's in the season premiere of season 2, and he's in the opening credits of that episode. So we're looking at our fourth Angel character.
Yeah, I assumed as much.
Yeah.
And I hope he doesn't forget about his good friend Wesley, though.
No. This is the crew. The crew now is Angel, Gunn, Wesley, Cordelia. That's our cast.
But this is all just through Angel. What if Cordelia and Gunn don't like each other?
Well, we're gonna learn all of that. We get, I think, episode 3 of season 2. It's all just Cordelia and Gunn together. We're gonna explore these dynamics.
Yeah. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Who's the villain, by the way? Like, what are we leading to at the end of the season?
There's no real villain. Season 1, the runner, the ongoing runner is Wolfram and Hart, and I would say season 2 has a little more of a villain, and then season 3 and 4 each have like a real villain of the year.
Okay. No Kate in
Yeah.
this episode.
You love Kate.
Yeah, she's a great character. I hope she. Why isn't she? She should be in the opening credits for season 2. I hope. I'd love to see that.
Kate is never a regular.
Oh, what are they doing? She has a cool name. Wouldn't you want to put that in the opening credits?
Elizabeth Rome. Well, I think at some point they had to start using her less because she signed on to be in Law and Order SVU or something. One of those Law and Orders.
That's a good job, but she's probably just doing the same thing over here. Why couldn't she have just done that over here?
She got a regular job on that show.
We should have offered her that. I'm saying though, we should have done that while we had her. We're so dumb.
I know. We missed the boat on that.
Yeah, but all right. So I'll give this episode a 3. Solid up.
I will too. It'd be a 2 if not for Gunn.
Oh yeah, but if not for Gunn, we would have a different episode. So you can't really say that.
What do you think of the actor, J. August Richards?
I liked him. I want to say I thought his sister was like really going for it this episode. I don't want to say she was bad. Yeah, but she was like really like this is like my one shot. But I didn't really think throughout the episode that it would be her one shot.
No,
I was kind of surprised
agree
when she died.
Yeah, but
She had
J.
main
August
character
Richards, J. August Richards is the main character energy. He's great. A couple years ago, came out of the closet as a gay fella, and just got gay married this past summer. And boy, Logan, what a Buffy extravaganza it was on the guest list at the J. August Richards wedding. Joss Whedon was there. Don't even worry about it. He's still tight with Joss Whedon. Love
it.
Alexis Denisoff and Allison Hannigan attended. Great to see them. And some more. No, I don't even know if they've ever been in the same episode together. So, no, it was a couple more Angel people. It was really the only Buffy person was Allison Hannigan, and she was there because of Alexis Denisoff. Right.
Yeah.
But it was a big Angel reunion at that wedding, and it was nice. Nice that Joss Whedon didn't completely alienate every single person he worked with.
Yeah. Well, he's a man, so he.
But he's also a gay black man.
But he probably didn't know he was gay back at the time.
Everyone knows everyone's gay. I knew Hugh Jackman was gay 20 years ago. He still hasn't come out.
But did you know that you didn't know this guy was gay until it came out? Probably. He doesn't strike me as gay.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. I don't think I knew that until much later.
Yeah. Great for him. I love how you call it gay married, by the way. I just call it married.
Oh, in my day, it was more of a thing. Like it was. Now you're right. I should just say married. But he I don't remember what I was gonna say. Sorry.
I don't know. He got married. He's living happy.
Oh, I wanted to say we didn't even use him again later in if you watch Agents of Shield. Remember, Whedon didn't like write on that show much, but he was the executive producer, and he used J. August Richards. He introduced a Marvel character called Deathlock, who was a cool character when I was a kid, and J. August Richards played him on that show.
I love it.
Yeah,
he does that a lot. Yeah. Whedon.
He does.
Maybe it's like the people that know his secrets he brings on to not have to introduce more people to his lifestyle.
That's possible.
He's like, you already know. Come on.
I guess so. But anyway, he's done a lot of TV over the years, J. August Richards. There's littered with shows that ran like 1, 2, 3 seasons that never really made it, but he was a regular on all of them. Like the guy's never stopped working. Most recently, I saw him on The Rookie. He showed up on an episode of The Rookie.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right.
I obviously I didn't want to look anybody up. I didn't want to know how many episodes these people were in or anything.
No, that's true. I knew you wouldn't, and I knew I'd tell you.
Yeah. So maybe I've seen him and I don't even know. But
yeah. So, where do you rank this? Or who's your MVP or whatever?
my MVP. I think I'm gonna go. I think I might go the sister because I really like them. They're the best part of this episode, the brother and the sister. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna have a lot more times to go him. This probably the only time to go her. And I thought she's memorable. I think Alana.
I love that. I'm gonna go Gun anyway, so I like that you're going her.
Yeah. And my LVP.
I guess Wesley for leaving Cordelia in that fucking alleyway.
That was a wild move, but I liked Wesley early.
No,
He
you
was
know what I'm
like
gonna go with? I'm gonna go with their friend Shane.
Yeah, I don't even remember who that was.
Yeah, you don't even. And I felt like he had way more screen time than any of the motherfuckers you were bringing up. So this guy sucked.
James had like 5 lines.
Dude, James, I'm looking at this cast list here on IMDb. James is like 15th build and does not have a picture on IMDb. Okay. Neither does Lena. Ty is down here with the hooker.
Oh, yeah. Ty was the guy that died. He's the vampire that died.
Bobby doesn't have a picture and he died. All right. Shane is billed right here behind Alana. All right. He had a lot to do.
You like remember what he looked like?
Yes.
I was thinking he might be a vampire.
No,
I'll go Chain also.
100% part of the crew.
All right. So Chain LVP. You think we're going to see more of Chain?
We definitely see more of this crew, but I don't remember whether they like used all the same actors or whether there's different people. We might.
Was she the only one that got taken by the vampires whenever they left the building? Were they only after Alana specifically, or they were like, let's get as many as we can?
I don't know what the plan was, but they definitely only walked away with Alana.
Okay, so she was the only. Okay, I didn't know if he had like a shorter crew now or anything.
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right, so I rank it. I don't know because I don't want to rank it low because I feel like it's an important episode, but as an episode on its own, it felt long. I don't feel like it's really all over the place. I put it 16 out of 20 between Room with a View and In the Dark.
Well, I like both those better than this one.
I've learned I actually kind of like Angel season 1. Like I like a lot of these episodes.
That's great.
Yeah.
There's just no direction. It's just all the episodes individually are good. But
you're right.
Yeah, it's just hard to know where the show's going.
Can we start like halfway through?
Nah, just read me from the bottom.
I fall to pieces. I will remember you. I love that choice. In the Dark, Sense and Sensitivity.
Wow,
The Bachelor Party.
I think I gotta put this after In the Dark, man.
Wow. So you have it 17. I have it 16. You have it 17.
But there's nothing really wrong with it. Like the bottom 3, I really dislike all those episodes.
There's just too many characters. Is the problem.
There's too many characters. Not enough of them matter. There's not enough Wesley and Cordelia. Like,
yeah.
There's good Angel stuff. It's a successful introduction of Gunn. That's what this episode is.
Not only are there the 3 different sides we talked about, but we get the whole David Nabbit and the Lenny Edwards. That's like into this story. Like, well, that should be its own episode, kind of.
I know. You're right.
There's like 5 things going on here. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's like a whole story with like Gunn's gang before they even run into Angel for the first time.
Yeah. They packed so much in here. It felt long too, in my opinion. Probably the longest one. Probably the longest feeling episode since since that Buffy episode, Inca Mummy Girl. This is probably the longest.
Fuck off.
This is probably the longest feeling episode since that.
That episode's fine.
Maybe She felt kind of long.
It's the first appearance of Oz, Inca Mummy Girl.
No way.
And first appearance of Jonathan.
What? Jonathan's that introduced that late, the same as Oz?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I feel like you were telling me about Jonathan in season 1. Like
it's because he got cut out of the pilot.
So why would you tell me about him? You're like, there was a guy that was supposed to be here, Jonathan, that you're going to meet?
I might have, yeah.
But I forgot. So in episode 1, I learned about Jonathan.
Yeah.
You were like so happy. Jonathan is really important to you. He's like a really
Jonathan's an
memorable part.
important character.
I know, but he really stood out to you. I feel like he's like the 5th lead of the show to you. It's like the or 6th lead, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right.
but
You
oh,
want
the
to read the
Patreon.
Patreon? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Josh Merlis says Buffy. Ooh, this is the first time I've ever seen a double previously on before. Yeah, that was incredible. They really are breaking ground here. Forrest is dead. You guys must be pumped. Yeah, we were kind of pumped. It was weird the way it was handled, but we're pretty excited. With all the meddling Spike did in the
Well,
Scoob.
I've to make up for Forrest dying, they had to introduce a new black character on Angel the same
Oh,
week.
good call. Yeah. With all the meddling Spike did in the Scoob crew, I only really bought it with. I thought that said. I thought Giles just said Giesling.
Well,
Do I need to go to the doctor?
yes.
No. I only really bought it with Giles getting depressed. The others could have easily taken a second and talked through it. I guess it would have. What are we even talking about right now? Oh, Spike. Oh, the whole Spike thing. I guess it worked because everyone is so stressed out. Hard to keep it cool and stay focused when tensions are high. A cautionary tale about meditative breathing. I brought
Yeah,
brought
it
to us by
does.
the folks at Buffy. You ever done that
Yeah,
meditative breathing?
this. Yeah, I have when I was trying to get sober. When the the Willow stuff and the Tara stuff and the Xander stuff, I really do think he's right. Like those things can be resolved if everyone just like sits down and is like, "Where'd you get this information?"
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, right now it's chaos.
No, I agree. The only thing that's real is Giles, because it like Buffy is treating him like
I
what he
know.
said, like a retired librarian, right?
He even says to her like, "You're going to get your ass kicked. You don't train with me anymore." I love that.
Yeah. It's sad.
Yeah.
Uh, And then he says about Angel, that whole bit where Cordelia was talking about prostituting herself out was hilarious. Nailed it. Seriously though, they should let that guy just hang around. He's awkward, but nice enough. He'd probably chill out once. Oh, he'd probably chill out once they got used to each other, and then they'd be flush with cash,
With
bro.
cash. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean
I guess that's not
that
what
kind
Angel's
of
all about.
is, but that kind of is what happens. Like he's he hangs around.
Yeah, is he just like a source of income for them?
I think he's just like a lonely guy who has no one to talk to, and so he talks
Yeah.
to them.
I don't really understand. That's a weird character. But okay, I guess we'll see. And then he says, off topic, I spotted some vertical short form content from the franchise today. Great job. Oh yeah.
Are you doing that?
Well, I made a video about whenever I did our whenever we talked about No One Will Save You last week on Hey I'm Watching Here. Did we do that last week? We talked about signs, remember? I
Okay.
compared it to signs. And we talked about like a bunch of great scenes from Signs. And when I was listening to that, I was like, well, I can make this a video. So I made that a video that I put on YouTube. But then while I was making it, I was like, well, I'll try to edit it down to like 1 minute. So I had put it down to 1 minute, and then I just took that and put it like I tried. There's like a thing on YouTube called Shorts. I tried to make one of
Oh,
those. Yeah,
where I wonder where Josh saw it.
probably on YouTube Shorts.
Huh. All right. Well, that's
Or
cool.
on YouTube. I posted the whole thing on YouTube, but then there's like a vertical thing called YouTube Shorts. I did
That's
both
like
of them.
that's like their fake TikTok.
It basically, I guess so. Yeah,
Okay.
they're like Instagram stories, whatever.
Yeah. Right.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Instagram stories.
they
All
all do
right.
it now.
Um. Oh, is that it for Josh?
That's it from Josh. Yeah.
Okay. Great to hear from Josh.
What's next week?
Um. Next week we've got an episode of Buffy and an episode of Angel.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The episode of Buffy, which is the second to last episode of the season, but kind of the finale, is called Primeval.
Okay. I have no idea.
Okay.
I really just don't have a guess.
And our second to last episode of Angel is called Blind Date.
Huh. Any guess?
I think he goes on a date with Roger Lodge.
Who's that?
He was the host of the show Blind Date.
Oh well. I think Wesley is gonna go on a blind date. He's feeling a little lonely. Remember that episode where Wesley's like, Angel, let's hit on all these women at this party.
I do remember that.
Was that when they dance or no? That's a different episode.
I think that might have been the same one where they dance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good
but I could
stuff.
see Wesley going to like one of those blind date conventions,
Sure, absolutely.
Or Cordelia. Cordelia doing the same.
All right. So Primeval and Blind Date next week.
Oh no, it's obviously they go on a date with somebody who has like an eye thing. Like the superpower comes from their eyes,
Well, like Cyclops from the
Yeah,
X-Men.
yeah, of course. It's gonna be like a
Okay.
Cyclops thing.
All right, we'll see. Primeval and Blind Date next week on Buffy's Angels. Come back for hey, I'm watching here. Come back for the Mask on the main show. Come back for the Sunday Night Wars next week. All right, with the Great American Bash and SummerSlam 1988. We've got so much coming your way. If you haven't heard it yet, check out that franchise update. I had a really fun time recording that episode. Great. I had a fun time recording this episode too after the contentious beginning. I apologize for that. But yeah, so that's it. Come on, let's check out all our content. Because we try not to make it just content. Like I'm proud of everything I put out. I think of them as shows, not content shows.
Right. We hope you guys like them.
Yeah. So check all that shit out, and then come back next week. Buffy's Angels, as we are on the road to the end of this current saga.
That's right. Helter Skelter playing us out.